going on, y'all? It's your boy Snoop Fam First, and I would like to welcome y'all to an episode of Open Bar, the Calisthenics podcast. I'm welcoming one of my very, very close friends today, Mr. Chris Joyce. If you don't know Chris Joyce, this is an opportunity for y'all to really get to know him. So what up, bro?
What's up, my guy?
Chilling,
My
man.
brother.
Chilling. So the reason why I wanted you here is because I've always admired your work.
Likewise.
You know what I'm saying? Like you're very unique in it, but we'll get into that. So I wanted to start off first with, tell your story. Like, how did you get started in fitness? How did you come across this?
Well, growing up in the projects.
Where you grew up?
I grew up in the Marble Hill.
Where's that?
In the Bronx, Marble Hill.
Okay, so Bronx, New York.
Bronx, New York.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And trying to get a little bit of money, there was neighbors who would give me like $20 to do push-ups.
That's crazy.
So I would be doing like, if you could hit 50 push-ups, if you could hit blah, blah, as like 9 years old. And I would do them. And I'm like, I could go to the store and get, this.
Right.
And that's how I was like, I get attention from this.
Mm-hmm.
And that like sparked it. And then anime, of course, like Dragon Ball Z, stuff like that. And then my grandma was like a big influence and transitioning into me getting attention from it to actually like, you could do something with this. Like, this is what this move is called.
Right.
This is what this is called. It's like, oh, what's this? These things has names.
Right.
This is what I could elevate this. Oh, this other stuff that's beyond what I'm doing now.
Right.
She, focused on the mental aspect. And
So speak on that. So your grandmother is your influence for calisthenics?
Yeah.
Like explain that a little more.
So my grandma used to watch the Olympics every year,
Okay.
and she saw me doing push-ups and stuff. She was like, "Oh, try to do a handstand," and I'm like, "I don't even know what that is." She was showing me like what it is. I'm like, "How am I gonna do that?" And go on the wall, stand on your head, try this. So she was like pushing me to try these things, and I got it in a day.
Wow.
The handstand. And ever since then, I was like, wow, this is amazing. We had a good relationship, and it always made her smile. So I kept doing it, and then I eventually fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I started getting stronger. I got attention for it. When I was at school, I did it, and it started to become a thing of like, man, this is my thing. I'm gonna always do handstands. So I always had that with me throughout life, but to try to do a handstand.
That's fire. So let me tell you this now. So let me ask you this. So you took the handstand, which to me is already like a dynamic move, and you took it even further.
Yeah.
Because there's clips of you going downstairs, there's clips of people rolling dumbbells to you.
Yeah.
Like, what made you even want to try that? Because what I give credit for is when you become the first man on the moon. It's easy to follow what someone else did, but when you are doing something, the first ever to do something, like, correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm going off of what I know, that you're the first person I've seen do these dynamic things. So what made you be like, yo, I wonder if I can do this, or let me try that? Like, where did that come from?
So there was a Dragon Ball Z episode where Goku had a barbell on his feet doing handstands.
In the hyperbolic time came out? When he was going to Namek?
Yes.
I remember that.
And
Nerd.
I was young. I was not young. And I was like, man, I don't even know. I probably... How long ago was that?
Right, that was Toonami Cartoon Network days.
Yeah. So ever since then, I was like, man, like imagine if I played around with like dumbbells and barbells and stuff like that. Like, is it possible? So the idea is there. So then I'm like, I just need to get the opportunity to have dumbbells and barbells around to like try it. So then I'm like, going to the gym, seeing and everything, and I started practicing in secret, and you know how we do, training in the dark. And it's probably like 2010, 2011, I'm just training in secret and practicing with it and stuff like that. And I'm like, I don't see no one doing it.
Right.
I'm like, this doesn't exist. So I'm like, oh, this would be cool if I would be the first one to do it.
Right.
So I just started doing it. And I started getting like the balance of it. I'm like, oh, okay. And then I just kept playing with it, and I got addicted to it.
So how was the trial and error of that? Were there any like, cause that's scary.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you fail, you're landing on your neck or something like that. Like, how was the trial and error of doing this?
So thank God that before transitioning into dumbbells and barbells and stuff, I have floor, parallettes, straight bar already, to where I've had to fail to get those moves already. So I already knew what it felt like to fail to get a move. So when it came to having to fail to get another move, it was just the same process, the same exact process where it's like, okay, this is, but it's harder, but at the same time, it's the same, I just gotta fail a bunch of times until I get it.
Right.
So it wasn't intimidating, especially because it was on the floor.
Right.
It rolled, but as long as I felt safe, I was good. And one thing I do in training is I train my fail first and handstand. So I don't actually train for the success of the move first. For my sake, that's why I never get injured. I train to where, like on the dumbbells, I purposely see if I can fall. I mean, how can I fall first? And then after I'm like, oh, I can fall safely. Then I felt safe in training it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Yeah.
So me personally, when I train, I believe that true strength is control. So obviously that's what gravitated me to your work, because the level of control. So what advice would you give to someone not only trying to learn the handstand, but at least the basic level of it? Because, you know, I'm not going to encourage people to do what you do. I'm being honest.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this is for like the select few. Yeah. But cause like for me with basic reps and sets, I like to focus a lot on core stability, control kind of thing. So does that still apply to the dynamic stuff that you do, like as far as emphasis on the core or anything like that?
Yeah. So doing like, for example, like on the floor, you have to have way more fingertip strength and wrist strength. And on a straight bar, more wrist strength and more balance. It's like super way more balance. But on a parallettes, it's more of like a different wrist strength and forearm. Right. So it's like getting to know what like how you know the lats and the abs and everything when you're doing pull-ups, but it's different than on push-ups. Different variations on push-ups could be different too, of what to engage in the body. Right. So with handstands, learning what you have to engage the right way helps, and the lockouts are important. That's our rule. We always have to lock out.
Right, full range.
As far as the like your what's that called?
Like body alignment.
Body alignment. I feel like it's up for what that canvas. And I know a lot of people is strict to the textbook, like how it is in the Olympics. Okay. But I'm not. I feel like there's different strength, because we wouldn't get a hollow back. We wouldn't get a certain crazy one arms. There's a lot of strength in bending the back in handstand that a lot of people shy away from because they are trying to appease other people's standards. Right. So I wasn't doing that. I was like, I realized every time I got on a straight bar, I would fall forward all the time. And it's only when my body went a little bit forward that I would fall forward. But when it was straight, I was good. Okay. So it was kind of pissing me off. So I started going forward on purpose and trying to gain the strength of having to hold myself with the weight going forward. So now when someone's falling faster, I'm not, because I've been training.
You've trained the failure. That's a gem right there. That's major. So all right, let me ask you this now. So you being the first man on the moon with this style of training, and as any dynamic move does, it creates people that want to emulate. And one thing that I can always say is, since I've met you, because I met you in 2014, but you've been in the game longer than me, but you've always been extremely approachable, you know, humble, like willing to share. So how does it feel knowing that you've kind of created people that follow your footsteps? Like, you're a trendsetter now. Like, how does that feel?
It feels like, man, it's crazy, because this is where I get speechless, kind of. Right. It's hard to explain. Like, I'm really grateful, really happy. Like, I don't look at it and be like, dang, why are they doing this? I'm like, wow, this is great, this is amazing. When I'm not here, other people, it will live on. Right. And it will never die. It's something that didn't exist, essentially. So, honestly, man, I just be speechless looking at other people do the same thing. And I get a lot of DMs from them. I get a lot of DMs, like, I can show you. Like, even right now, someone who wants to attend the UFX DMs me like, thank you for all this, I emulated, and yada yada. I'm like, that's the goal.
So were there any, like, I know you mentioned your grandmother, but were there anyone else that inspired you to do these things, that kind of you looked up to or emulated their work or idolized their work? Or
I idolized Bruce Lee. I just felt like his mentality.
Right.
I super idolized him. When man, I looked at even his funeral and cried on YouTube.
Yeah.
Because he passed away before I was even born, but that's how much that he was a big influence in my life. So he really got me to wanting to be strong and stuff like that too. Mm-hmm. And then I started gaining my faith in Christianity and everything, and I started believing that some things don't always happen in coincidence. So out of nowhere, I run into a Powerhouse in a park. Okay. He's just like my neighbor. Run into a park, and he's training. I what you call it, and and from there it's like a collision just happened.
Okay, so let's speak on Powerhouse. Who is Powerhouse for the audience that doesn't know? Because we know Powerhouse.
Yes. Well, Powerhouse is another calisthenic athlete. He's a legend from the Bronx. Mm-hmm. Extreme legend, and he's someone who is also a trendsetter. He have done a lot of other things first, like wrist handstand stuff, so much stuff, and it's just so ironic that we run into each other.
Right.
And he's like, we similar.
Right.
And he's like, you could do this, but I could do this, and blah blah. So we just kept, and then from there we just never stopped being friends. I was like, 09.
Right. So you see, I'm glad you said that, because I believe the universe works that way sometimes.
Yeah.
Where you are unique in your craft.
Yeah.
You find someone else that's unique, so it intrigues you.
Yeah.
So it's competitive. Yeah. Because we all I do this too. So let me see what you do. Yeah. Let me see what you do. Yeah. So the fact that you met a Powerhouse where it can be like, I'm used to this shine of being the only man on the moon. Yeah. Now I have to share this attention with you. But you kept it in a friendly aspect. Yeah. So what do you say towards that, just in regards, do you think that made you stronger in essence?
It made me stronger meeting Powerhouse for sure. One, still sharp and still. Right. And one thing I appreciate about Powerhouse is he's gonna be honest with me. You could do this better. You could work on this, and the same thing, vice versa. But it also feel good training with someone. I know that a lot of people I train alone. Training with someone who is pushing himself, you wanna the energy's up. I'm gonna train regardless. Right. But it's not the same training with someone. It feels good. Right. So I look forward to the training even more. I was I can't wait to train with me. Powers will train together. It was and that I feel like if I never met him, I would still be on my journey, but it would have been altered differently. Right. Same thing with you. Meeting you, you made me care more about the dog of the reps. Actually paying attention to I could have wound up falling into the category of just making videos. Right. And even though I'm working on my craft, I'm doing hard stuff and I'm training and stuff that I care about being strong, meeting you gave me the perspective of you gotta actually put the work in. You can't just put the work in just for the move. Right. You want to be able to rep that move. Right. Right. Because the stigma is, talent and hard work. Yeah. And, some people ignore one if they have the other. Some people are hard workers, some people are just naturally talented. Yeah. But when you combine the two, that's when you step into the lane that you're in my opinion. Yeah. So, like you said, you meeting Powerhouse, I absolutely agree with that, because you were Goku and you met your Vegeta. Yeah. Where it's just this is rivalry. This is I want to be better than you, but I realize the better you get, the better I will get. So helping you helps me, and then guess what? You a cool dude in real life. So cool. We're brothers now. So I've always spoke on that. So let's talk about now when we met. Yeah. Because I say this all the time, when I started my calisthenics journey, it was simply the basics. Mm-hmm. I started a little older. Mm-hmm. I started at 28. I'm not really into the dynamic stuff, but I'm a fan of the craft. So the second I saw you doing what you do, it was wow. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And it was so intriguing to me, because when you saw me, you gave me the same respect. And I'm just there this dude,
bro,
beast.
No, but I'm just how dare you? You know what I'm saying? Yeah. What you're doing is nothing compared to what I'm doing, or what I'm doing is nothing compared to you, and you're giving me homage. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
every time I see you in the park, I'm like, Snoop,
right,
Snoop.
right.
Like, you stand out amongst men, like you really do. Like you really do. You always had that aura about you. You had dog in your eyes, and I realized I'm like, man, I need to have more dog in me.
Right,
every time I was around you.
Right.
Yeah.
Because let's speak on that now. So when I met you at a competition, and I say this all the time, that I've always given you your flowers of being a master, not a master of this unique craft. That I personally, I do my homework. I look up to see how much people have done this, how many people are doing this, and then you'll just reinvent the wheel every time.
Yeah.
You know, like I said, the second one I was like, yo, he does a handstand and he walked this way, and then the next video you're going down 30 steps in the Bronx while people are rolling dumbbells to you. Yeah. So where did that? I know you said that, you know, the Goku hyperbolic chime chamber inspired it, but what made you like take it even further? Because I want to segue into this, put you in a national spotlight now.
Yeah.
So what made you like specifically, what made you think like let me involve people now? Like roll something to me and I'll catch it, or this, that, and the third. Like what brought that about?
Honestly, I feel like some things we can't even take credit for. It's like God kind of like helped with it, like in our brain. The creativity, what is that? What is creativity? How did we even get that? So it gets weird to where it's like it almost starts to feel like it's not even getting planned anymore. Like at first it's like I have the initial idea that I want to do this and everything. I start training it. But then I want to try it on a slide. Now I want to try thinking. Now I want to see if I can roll up a roof and if it comes back. Now I want to do so much different things with it. But then it's like the creativity part of it. It's like, where is that coming from? I don't even know. Honestly, I just give it the credit to God to where it's like, it's interesting.
Right. So now that's taking you to a national spotlight. Because one thing I can say is like in the calisthenics community, we're very private. We're in our local parks. We know each other, but if I'm being honest, the world doesn't really know us. And you, like, to my knowledge, was one of the people that represented us in the world. Like in 2019, you was on the Ellen Show twice. In 2020, you was on The Big Show. So talk about that experience. Like, how did they find you through social media? Did you audition? Did you reach out? Like, how did that work?
So with Ellen, I went to her site because I always loved her show, and I saw there was like a limited time to where talent could send a video and you could be an audience guest to perform. So I was like, oh, this would be great. I would love to do this. I love Ellen's show. So I just sent the video, put my name, put where I live and everything, and never thought of it, and didn't get nothing back from it. But I wrote it in on a piece of paper. Like, I'll be on the Ellen Show. I'll be on the Ellen Show. I still got that piece of paper.
Nice.
And I'm like, like eventually I started to think that like, maybe it's not gonna happen. Because time went by a little bit, and out of nowhere I got a call. And I was like, I don't recognize this number, so I call, and I remember her name was Jenny. She's like, are you Christopher? I'm like, yeah. She's like, oh, you sent the video and everything. We are interested in you doing this, but you need to come down. And I was like, what do you mean? I just got the call right now. Like, if you could come today, you could do the show. And I was like, dang. So I went that day.
Wow.
Did the audience show
on demand,
and then they was like, we want you to do it again. So I had to go back again, and it's crazy.
So talk more about that experience. Like, what was it like? Like you said, meeting Ellen. Obviously, somebody that our childhood, we grew up watching her on TV most of our life, and now you're there. You're in front of a studio audience. You're in front of you're being broadcast around the world. Like, did your nerves kick in? Like, talk about that a little more.
So I was not even a little nervous. I was OD nervous because one, they put you backstage and you watch other celebrity guests before you go on. So I'm backstage looking. They have like a big screen. I'm looking, and they keep like coming backstage. Like, you got 30 more minutes before you on, and it's live. So in my head, I kept thinking of, I can't mess up. One, I feel like I'm representing the culture, calisthenic culture, and two, this is live. So if I mess up, there's no editing. So I'm doing, with us, it's like, it's a lot of hard work, and it's a lot of skill sets and stuff involved to where something small could go wrong. Going down the stairs on dumbbells in a handstand, something small could go wrong, especially with different fabric.
Right.
Like I like towels, I like things, but when it's like cracks and stuff and carpet, it's like, and you gotta roll with the punches. There's nothing I can do. So it's like, man, I just gotta roll with the punches, do it. Hopefully I don't mess up in front of all these people.
Right.
And this is the first time I'm on TV.
Right.
And I'm like, man, all that's going through my head to where I'm like, dang, if I mess up, that's the only thing. And I kept telling myself, don't mess up, don't mess up, don't mess up. And then I locked in.
And how old were you at the time? 20s. Young.
Yes.
So still.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now that's major, because I speak on this sometimes where, let's say I'm about to do a competition.
Yeah.
I've competed a million times, but I still get nervous. I still get butterflies. I still get the what ifs.
Yeah.
But when you get there, the experience plays a role.
Yeah.
So, like, from the outside looking in, when I see you, I'm like, yo, he's moving like this is just what he do in his first time, which adds more to the aura of like, yo, this dude is the man on the moon. He's a one of one. Yeah. So let's go forward now to your competition history. Because, like I said, I met you in a competition realm. So what are some of the competitions? When did you start competing?
Yeah. And
what were the competitions, and what was the movements of the competition that you had to do?
So I feel like we all start in our backyard, like facing a lot of people. One, I didn't have a lot of money. So I was getting some traction from the videos. Okay. And Crunch Gym, the owner was like, you don't have to pay for the gym.
Membership?
Membership.
Nice.
It's like for your life, you don't have to pay. Cool, but I still don't got no protein, nothing.
Right.
At the time, I'm thinking protein is,
the powder and the water.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, protein, you need protein to get stronger and this and everything. So I'm like, okay, I need protein. I can't afford it at the time.
Right.
So I would go to the gym because they would have competition with Crunch. And I would go there and beat all the personal trainers.
What kind of competitions?
Push-ups, pull-ups. They didn't want to do handstands,
right?
Because they was like, that's cheating and stuff like that. But they actually wanted to where the whole gym could compete.
Nice.
And a lot of people did, and the personal trainers also competed.
Okay.
So, but I won every time. I left with the protein.
Nice.
Oh, because I already had the membership, the lifetime membership.
Right.
So I was doing that first. And then I would be going to where Powerhouse was competing and just watching him, and then having unofficial battles. Because I kept I felt funny at the time, like, man, the spotlight of being there in front of all these athletes, and the idea of it brought fear to me. So I did it, but I didn't do it officially to where like judges and everything was there.
Right.
And I would watch Powerhouse, and you could do it, you could do good, you would win. I'm like, I'll battle them, but I don't know about all this. That's how I was going in. So it wasn't until probably like 2015, 2017 that I was doing official battles. Right. Like, battling whoever that they, whatever. Right. And when Doc did the UFL thing, I was like, now I'm like, whatever. Right, like, I'm with it now. Now that whole stigma of like, man, is this even
right? So before we get there, because I definitely want to speak heavy on the UFL, which transitioned into UFX. Mm-hmm. But let's start with we'll go back to your friendship with Powerhouse. Yeah. Because when I entered the community, I entered in about 2014, 2015, and you can attest to this. It was gangland. Yeah. It was crazy. The Brotherhood guys in the Bronx, the Barbarians in Wingate in Brooklyn, and bartenders in Harlem, and territory crews, shirts, matching shirts, etc. So what kept you as a quote unquote lone wolf when everyone was kind of crewed up? Like, what made you, especially if your friendship with Powerhouse, who I've met as a key member of Brotherhood and Blackout.
And Blackout, yep. So I was like hanging out with Powerhouse and Soul a lot. And I was getting DMs from show-offs, from bartenders, etc., to be on a team.
Okay, so these were other teams.
Other teams.
Show-offs, Soul, bartenders. You said Soul, Akeem Supreme?
Akeem Supreme.
Which was the leader of Blackout.
Blackout, yeah. Right. I would hang out with him and Powerhouse all the time because we like a little crew in the way.
Right.
But, we all lone wolves at the same time. But the other teams, they would hit me up to join them, and something kept telling me like, dang, I feel like at this time I felt like I had an individual talent, and I felt like it might have been they had a different type of mindset what they wanted to do.
Right.
As like, this is team forward, and I'm like, I kind of want to do this with the handstand. I feel like I could take it. This is before TV and stuff.
Right.
So I feel like in my head, I think I could do enough to take it to where maybe I could get on TV. Maybe I could get these other opportunities. And I don't know if I would get it blending in with these teams.
Right.
So that's the reason why I never joined none of those squads or anything like that. I was like, I'm gonna stay with my bro, and I'm just train and work on my craft and see what happens. And some of them follow me for that, but it's okay.
Okay, but like you said, that's respected because, like you said, I say this to people all the time because I am obviously the leader of a team, and I've had this team for a long time, and it is hard to you kind of get lost in the team's agenda sometimes.
Yeah.
If you have an individual goal because the team wants to move as one and etc. But like I said, you still have the friendship of you still low-key get the benefits of team because as New Yorkers, and I say this all the time, we are so proud of where we're from.
We
don't even say we're from New York. We say I'm from the Bronx, I'm from Brooklyn, I'm from Queens. We don't say New York. So you still have the support of the Bronx, whether you're on a Bronx team or not, because like you said, you're representing them on the big spotlight. So now that you are competing, what was the first? Do you remember the first competition you did?
I don't even remember. I feel like
official competition, like referees, comps.
Probably at 161.
Okay, Brotherhood at Yankee Stadium.
Yeah, they Q setting Quincy setting something up and just try to get your feet wet basically, and I'm just like, okay, and anything handstand I would just always win and stuff like that. And then at Wingate, I think I've done a battle there too because of Doc.
So okay, let's speak on that. So your first competition, you've had success.
Yes.
So did that kind of make okay, let me do more of this, or how was that? Because I tell that sometimes, when people enter competition and they win so early or get that success, it diminishes the hunger because it was I'm I'm the man here already and I just started. So do you feel like that was an experience, because obviously you've continued to compete? Do you feel like that was part of your, I don't know how to word this, but do you feel like that made you hungrier for more competition? That you came in the game and was okay, I'm winning here already. So did that make you want to do it more?
Honestly, I'm gonna be truthfully honest. I think that the reason why I competed more is because of Powerhouse, because of him being my friend, seeing him compete, seeing his ups and stuff like that. I'm like, I'll do it because he's doing it.
Right.
And I think that if I never met him, I don't know if I would ever competed.
Right.
I think that because of meeting him, I follow him to these circles. And follow him to these things, to where now it's he keep trying to drag me into the thingy. I'm like, no, that's you.
Right.
And before you know it, I'm swimming now, and you're like, dang. So mainly it but he created that hunger in regards of nah, you are that guy. Right. You could do this, and that's how I got into the UFL and everything, because Powerhouse is and I gotta return the same favor. Right. Because
I have that issue sometimes because I'm a very passionate person. So if I see you, having this talent that it's if you go into this competition, you would shine. But yet, like you said, some people just be on some, I don't want to shine there.
I don't want to shine there.
But it's just also, nah, do it. The pressure, because I'm trying to uplift you, but yet I'm coming across very telling you what to do, controlling your story instead of God helping you with yours. So that's why, once again, another shout out to Powerhouse, because that is a true testament of friendship. Because it's I really, I know you would kill it in this scene, but whether you do it or not, I'm still your man. You still my brother. So let's speak about UFL now, because UFL, now it's extremely popularized, and we're both a part of it now. But when in its origin, when it was building its way up, shout out to Doc, the director of calisthenics, who put everything together. But you were one of the founding athletes when it started from the ground. So talk about that entire process. Like, did Doc reach out to you? You know, when you did this experience, because if I remember, the first event was in like, matter of fact, you tell it, because I'm
2017. He reached out to me, and again I was hesitant.
So you wasn't part of the first one, because the first one had like Soul, Quincy, Juice. Remember, they went to like a powerhouse.
Yes, they went to
like a Floyd Mayweather,
Las Vegas.
Right,
I
right.
didn't go to that
so
one.
you wasn't part of that.
I wasn't part of that one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. They went there about, so I'm like, oh, what you call it? I'm good.
Right.
I was still my feet was completely in, because I was still like, I'll compete, like I could do it, but at the same time, is it for me? I'm still like internally processing it to like, would it be for me? And like, I'm still trying to figure a lot of things out. Mm-hmm. And when the other one came around, 2017 one, and they reached out again, like, come on, blah, 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 this and everything. And it was more of like, New York, like this would be, we need a good representation. We need, like, you know, they coming here to beat us. You know what I mean? And I'm like,
where's the medal?
Oh, it's in my coat pocket. Chris.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. No, it's okay. I don't care about that girl like that.
Right, but I just wanted for the talking point on this.
So, yeah, you hold it. So, let's go back to the part where you're talking about the origin of it, like how you got started, when they reached out to you. So you said 2017?
Yeah.
Because if I remember the Mayweather one, they did one in MetLife.
Yes, I did that too.
You was part of that one?
Yeah.
Because that's when I was, he peer pressured me to be a referee.
Yeah, I was part of that one too.
Because one of the girls on my team participated, so I went to just show her love, and then I ended up refereeing the competition.
Yeah.
Shout out to the Doc. Doc gave me a size XX shirt.
Yeah.
That came down to my knees, looking crazy refereeing in this shirt, but we'll deal with that later. Yeah. So that was your first experience in UFL?
Yeah, my first experience in UFL in MetLife. Yep.
Okay. Did you competed?
Yeah, I competed. I forgot exactly what I did, but I think I did like two, 3 things.
Right. Because if I remember Sean from Wingate was there. I remember Brandon Beast Mode. Brandon ended up winning it.
Yeah.
But I remember that. So, how did that experience feel to you? Because to me personally, that was like, wow. We went from doing this in the parks with just the inner circle community, a crowd of maybe 30 of us that just do this religiously, to now we're at MetLife Stadium where where professional football players play. If I remember, one of the Giants players was an announcer there.
Yes.
We're on the Jumbotron. So how did, you having TV experience already, how did this feel, not in comparison to that, but just from your origin to where you were now with UFL?
Honestly, it felt like it opened my eyes to, like, wow, the culture, there's something here, like not just something here, something big here that is ready, like, and it made me believe in the culture even more.
Right.
Like, I'm a part of the culture, but I'm not thinking of the culture in a certain mental state.
Right.
And I think that that day I'm just like, man. So when the second one came around, I'm like, I would love to represent New York. I would love to represent, where we're from.
Right.
And if other people are trying to beat that, like I'm okay with taking an L or taking W, putting my shield on the line.
Right.
So I started thinking differently because of that.
Right.
In regard of like prior to it, where I'm like, I don't know if I want to compete. From there, I'm like, you know what? Sometimes you're defending something, and sometimes it's bigger than you. And that's why I like team battles. And it's interesting because individual battles, I like them too, but I'm not so much on, like, sometimes we know who we could beat.
Right.
And we know, but a lot of the team battle, it feels like I'm defending in a different way. It feels better for me to be on a team.
Right.
So I think that really sold me even more, team battles. Like I gotta have someone back too.
I should have asked you this earlier, but do you have a sports background? Basketball, football?
I played it, but no, not in school or anything.
Because you have a great team mind.
Yeah.
And because I say this all the time, every lesson I've learned in life, I've learned from basketball. As far as being the one that has to score all the points or
Yeah.
being the role player or just playing your role. Like sometimes you might be the guy, sometimes you might not. Everything is about the benefit of the team at the end of the day.
Exactly.
So let's speak on 2017 now.
Yeah.
You have you still have the medal, which is crazy.
Crazy.
But like you said, you wanted to represent New York, and if I remember, the 2017 was like USA versus the world.
Yeah.
Like UFL flew in athletes from London, all over different parts of the world for y'all to go against. Brazil, right. I remember y'all coming out with the flags on y'all back, you know what I'm saying?
It's crazy.
And that, if I remember, that event was at the amphitheater.
Yep.
We had celebrity hosts. We had Mario Lopez. We had Dave performed, Jules Santana. So speak on that experience and speak on that experience.
So I felt more pride in that battle because it was on a team with people I respected, love, and wanted to win even more than for myself, which was weird. I want to win for myself too because I don't want people. No one wants to take an L.
Right.
But at the same time, I just felt a more like urge of I really want to win for New York. I really want to win for the team I'm on. I really want to win for. And from there, I fell in love with it even more. And that's the thing I realized with team. So in the competition, I'm like, okay. I'm ready. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling ready, and the sense of I'm not losing to the world, and everything, and that made me fall in love with it way more. And now I'm super in it. Right.
So, like I said, I remember that event. It was, for me, it was monumental because I'm used to just us in the park, unofficial stuff, and this felt to me like big stage stuff. We can actually, this can be more than just a pastime. This can be more just a hobby. We can take it somewhere. So now I want to flip it a little bit towards, the thing about life in general is we can have everything planned out how we want it to do, but then, a monkey wrench can be thrown in there. just life. It's I'm lucky if I get to train twice a week. But I still make it work. But I know for me, if I'm on this stage, I need nothing going on. Because I'm so obsessive, I need to be training and I can't commit to that. But alongside with this, I've really stepped into my coaching journey.
Great coach, by the way.
So, because like I said, I tell this story, I had an emergency. I had a lot of injuries in my career. So one time I've injured myself so bad I couldn't do anything for 7 months. But with my team, that's where the Coach Cap persona was born. Because I'm not Snoop no more. Snoop is the athlete. Coach Cap is I'm just here. I'm just coming up to the links to just tell y'all what to do. To just coach. So I'm more when you're training with me, it's different because, I'm training. So I can't pay 100% attention to you. But now when it's just, come on. Timed rest. I'm just on you concentrated. I started to realize I really have a talent for this and I want to manipulate that. So
you have a big talent with this.
Right. So me coming on as the coach now, because this is a new position to UFX.
Yeah, it is.
It wasn't a coach position when we was in the audience for that championship. So talk about, because one of the things that always stands out to me is when we linked up for our first training session in the preseason. And I'm just speaking my craft and you're like, yo, just hearing you in my ear is such a relief because all I got to do is the work. I don't got to do the thinking part. You'll do that for me. So how did that make you comfortable? We're about to, this is a transition into what I want to become, or
in the competition.
Right.
In the competition, honestly, having you there, it takes so much weight off of you.
Right.
You know what I mean? To where now it's like a player don't have to worry about the plays anymore.
Right.
You gotta worry about this, even if they do, because you still got LeBrons.
Right.
You still got this. It's you can't limit a talent.
Right.
You should let them bloom. But what I'm saying is, when you have someone who could cover this aspect, and you trust them. If I was to be I think this is a good idea, and you're nah, I think this is a good idea. I'm we're going with that idea.
Right.
You gotta be willing to do that because, and I just think that any way that we can have you is the W.
Right.
Whether it's an athlete or coach,
Right,
really
right,
good.
right.
So having your name there, it like I already know how your brain works. It's a trust there for me. So for me, it's just like I don't really the other pieces. Like I have a relationship with them now,
Right,
and I'm
right,
happy
right.
that they're there now. But at the beginning, it didn't matter to me because of Powerhouse and Snoop was
Right.
a part of the thinking. I didn't know G yet.
Right.
I didn't know
Nick,
Nico, no other name.
Cara,
But
Aramis.
those two names alone, I was like,
Comfortable.
we could go. Yeah, I was comfortable with that. We could go against the world. That's how I felt. And yeah,
Okay, so now the team is assembled.
Yes.
You know, we had some highs and lows. We
And
had
I'm
some
still learning
roster
stuff.
changes.
from you.
Right. So we had the roster changes, but now we have our team together. We're
Yeah.
getting ready for our first match in Miami. So, like I said, I'll be honest. For me, it was nervousness, but yet it was still comfortability because this is what I do. But
Yeah.
I've never done it in front of national TV. I was a spectator. But like I said, Ellen show, the Go show, all like you have experience on the big screen.
Yeah.
So did this experience feel like those? Because those were like showcases. Now this is like competitive, controversy,
Yes.
ref mishaps, all sorts of stuff to where, you're showing raw emotion on something that can't be changed because it's edited TV. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
speak on our first match about we're entering this league and you coming in with expectations of I want to win it all. And
Yeah.
we came in and we lost our first match.
Yeah.
So speak on that a little bit.
Yeah. Well, I would say we lost, but we did it at the same time.
Right.
But
right.
it's very similar. Like you get the same exact butterflies.
Mm-hmm.
The only difference is but the reason why it's the same for me is because I'm still doing physical stuff.
Right.
But the only difference, like for us, like how you say, don't worry about the competition.
Right.
You always don't focus on what they're doing. Focus on what we're doing.
Right.
So it's the same. All I got to do is focus on the training we did. We're
Right.
trying to be our own time, not worry about what they're doing. I'm not looking over to see Bob. I'm trying to do what we've been doing in training.
Right.
So it turns into a very similarity to like the shows because all I'm focusing on is the routine that I gotta finish. If it's a minute routine, a 2-minute routine,
Right.
I gotta get through this hard work at this particular time, and that's it. Block out everything else. That's how we be in the competition. So it was very similar, but being introspective, the difference is the other teammates. So if I see Nico getting a little nervous, like I don't think maybe I shouldn't go right now.
Right,
you
right,
got
right,
this. Or I
right,
see
right.
Nick getting upset because there
Building
might be
chemistry and
all of that
the
is
trust.
where like he's getting mad because they are no repping him.
Right.
They shouldn't be, and all of this stuff that's happening to where it's like that is where it's like okay.
Right.
This
right.
is where the experience is completely different.
Right.
It's different type of thing, and the chemistry, and then that from there.
Because I'll give a little testimony. The thing about UFX, to explain to the viewers a little bit, it's a 2-game season.
Yeah.
So every game is like you have to win.
Yeah.
The easiest way to the championship is to win your 2 games.
Yeah.
If you lose one, you have to hope everyone in your division lose one, and it comes down to a point system. Who had the most points, kind of thing. So us coming in with champion aspirations, us not getting the outcome we wanted in our first match, we went against Brooklyn, who was the defending champs of our conference.
Yeah.
Coming in with the experience and stuff. We came in at a super handicap.
Mm-hmm.
But I do remember, to me it's very important that whether win or lose, you keep your character.
Yes.
Of course we can have our reservations. Of course we have our private talk of,
Yes.
this is crazy. But the public face of shake it off. Let's just get in the lab and get stronger.
Yeah.
And the universe will hold us down.
Yeah.
And that's all we would say in our group chat. So now, we take that first loss. We have to compete again, 3 weeks later? Versus, another very strong team.
Dangerous
but,
team.
We bounce back. So how did that, because me personally, when we won that, I'm like, if they let us in the championship, it is a wrap. Because now we, like you said, all of those things, we got our chemistry now. We got the trust, we got the feel of the game. So did you feel the same way too? Like when we beat jersey in the second match?
If there was cameras on me and PH, there was such fire in our eyes.
Right.
Such fire in our eyes. They're like, they done messed up in this. And I had a feeling that would happen. So I was there in my silk shirt.
Yeah. No. You're fast forwarding. We're talking about when we battled Jersey.
Oh, I'm fast forwarding. Yeah.
Right. Okay. That is the.
Oh, okay. Going into this, I was like, in my mindset, this is a dangerous team, but we putting it all on the line. Basically, I trust Coach Snoop, and I believe that our chemistry is better. We worked out the kinks. We trained hard for this. We prepared. So I just felt more prepared because of the experience against Brooklyn.
Right.
Because of that, and going into all the tweaks that we did, the chemistry that we built, I felt more like I don't think we're gonna lose.
Right.
I felt like we got this. That's how I felt. I know that would have not easy.
Right.
But I was like, no, nothing really easy that we do. So I was like, it is.
Because now we're going against Jersey in Jersey. And they're already a favorite team.
Yeah.
And we're coming in with a loss. And we're the expansion team. So it almost feels like we're expected to lose.
Yeah.
So now that we have that win, now that we've done our part, we have to wait, a month? Because now we have to see Jersey versus Brooklyn and cross our fingers. Because if Jersey wins by 12 or more, we get to the championship.
Yeah.
But if Brooklyn wins, we're out of it.
Yeah.
So I remember this like it was yesterday because we were in the building, obviously. This is the silk shirt part now, where you're down there kind of front line watching it. So, I don't want to get into too much detail of the, the intricacy, but talk about the moment when you realize like, they did their part. We're in the championship. Yeah. How did that feel?
It felt amazing. One, I was, still rooting for Paige, Max, and everything. I hope they do good. But at the same time, I want to be in the championship.
Right.
So I'm rooting against them, not of no malice, but because I want another opportunity. Especially because I felt like the first day there was some mishaps, but it's okay. Moving forward, I'm like, man. After I saw that we are in the championship, me and Paul looked at each other and we couldn't contain ourselves.
Right. I was in the balcony watching y'all.
Yeah.
So I was like, they losing it. But I was losing it too because it's exciting.
It was exciting. I was like, we have an opportunity. And they gave best coach and, in my opinion, the best team the opportunity to face the champion. And this is what I wanted. I couldn't write a better.
Right. So let's get there now. So now we're in the championship. We're going against LA, who went undefeated last season and won the championship, and is so far undefeated in that current season that we're going against them. So we're the classic underdogs.
Yes, they haven't lost to nobody.
Right.
They haven't lost a match.
They won both their matches by 80 points. So it's landslides. Repeating champs. All the polls was in their favor. So speak on that pressure on us, because even though we're extremely confident, we believe in ourselves more than anybody, but the world is like, so speak on that.
So being that I feel like this is one of the perks of being humble, because instead of being angry about it, it was satisfying to be an underdog. It felt more comfortable.
Right.
One, and it's deserving that because of how well they perform, that they're getting all these compliments and stuff. And be the underdogs. We didn't win and prove anything yet. So that's another thing. The other thing is it puts me in a position to do more studying, of the people I might have to go against, who they could send at me, Wong or Thomas. And stuff like that, are they going to switch? What are they going to do? So now I'm thinking from the perspective of through humility of instead of I'm just going to, watching the game tapes and seeing what I can do and realizing that, I could be faster on the muscle ups to a handstand. I'm not snapping how I could do this, I could do that, which I made those little tweaks and stuff. So I could transition from, little things like that. So I'm happy that we were the underdogs.
Right.
And I still feel that way. I still feel like I still think that people, I don't know if they think this was a fluke, or something, I think that people don't think that was even my 100%, which is not even close, So
So
keep us as an underdog.
Right, exactly. Because like I said, that moment to me was very special because, you know, the nervousness kicked in. Like I said, we're on Fox Sports.
Yeah.
We're in the championship.
Yeah.
And like I said, we've formed a bond that, in my personal opinion, I'm very confident in my guys, but then you still have to give infinite amount of respect to the opponents.
Yes.
Because like you said, that these are still athletes that want it just as bad as us.
Yeah.
So when we actually won that, I had a moment where I kind of just sat down.
Yeah.
Like, wow.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, we just did that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And like I said, for me, like it was difficult because I thank you for your love towards me as a coach, but as an athlete, you know, as a coach, sometimes it's like, yo, I want to help.
Yes, that's
like
what
physically.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying? But
That's
then it's
the
like
fire.
I can't do that there. But this is such a better, a different feeling of joy because I'm like, yo, I didn't do nothing, but I played such a major role here with. You know what I'm saying?
That's why coaches get fired all the time.
Right.
Coaches get fired all the time
Right.
because the results is not being produced.
Right.
Our teams.
Right.
And it's like, it's been a few years, nothing has happened, we got to get a new coach.
Right.
And you have produced on your first time here as a coach, and you showed, you had different roster changes, all type of things you have to work with.
Right.
And you showed and proved that you was the best coach.
Right. So, you know, we ended up being the champions, man. We finished. We finished the story how it was supposed to be. So I want to give a special shout out to, you know, of course, Powerhouse, Nico, Nick, Kara, Aramis. We even throw JT from Team Easy Money out there because he was our equipment.
Oh, yeah, he did great that. He put the thing there. I was flying on the
give a shout out to Stars Fitness because he was our reserve for the championship and he gave a lot of energy on the sideline. And of course, you know, the family because that was the beauty of Harlem. And like I heard your girl in the rafters just screaming. You know, the energy that we got from our supporting family was everything. So. Right, exactly. My children was there screaming their heads off. So, you know, it's something where I'm very much looking forward to this upcoming season. Yeah. Because now, you know, we got our feet wet. Mm-hmm. We know what we're doing. We're going in as the champions with the target on our back. But this is where we do our best work.
Yeah. Underdogs again.
Exactly. Because now we want to be the first repeat champions. Yeah. Because LA was on the verge of being the first repeat champions. Yeah, and we spoiled that. Sorry, guys. Yeah. My bad. Yeah. But now we get the chance to have that be our story. Yeah. So, you know, I'm very much looking forward to this, man. And, you know, so now, like in closing, I definitely want to thank you for your time because this was dope for me. You know what I'm saying? I've known you for a very long time. Yeah. But now, like I said, I feel like I know your story. I consider you a family already. Appreciate you. Know, I consider you a brother, and I'm very much looking forward to taking this next adventure, dog.
Hell yeah.
Back season 2, baby.
Yes, sir.
Let's get it, y'all.
It's going to be crazy.
So once again, y'all, please show infinite amounts of love to my brother, Chris Joyce. I hope y'all enjoyed this interview. And like I said, tap in with us. I'm going to put all your information in there. You know, show him love, show us love. And we're going to do our best to keep y'all posted with everything we got going on. So once again, this is Open Bar, the Calisthenics Podcast. I'm your host, Snoop Fam First. Want to give another shout out to my brother, Chris Joyce, for blessing me with his presence. And we signing out, y'all.